Yes, I'm a little early. That's exactly right. I've decided to come on just a little bit early tonight. I'm not sure why. I don't think notifications are going out. YouTube all of a sudden put me on like a lesser notification deal. It's pretty weird. I'm not sure what's going on. Like the views and everything just kind of dropped dramatically. Just in one day all of a sudden. It's like, well, what algorithm were you using? Kirby Wallace, the Barbarian. Wow, there's only 3 people watching? Jesus. Looked like there was more just in the chat there. I'm gonna wait a couple minutes. Because if I start right now, invariably people come on and go, okay, yeah, so what did you say before? What did you say before? Hey, what did you say before? Look, the thing is I am going to do an update here. This isn't going to be a long live. Okay, I'm going to do a timeline, basically. And that's something we hadn't really known. Like, we didn't... couple timelines have just come out recently, and we didn't really know what was the gig. What's the deal here? What was he doing? Like, why is he doing this? Where did he come from? That kind of thing. Man, he looks so dramatically different in these pictures. Like this one and this one, right? He's got those same sorry-looking eyes, though. What's weird to me, though, is his eyes look more sorrowful, you know? I don't see, you know, a lot of times you can see the evil in an eye, in eyes, but I don't see that in his. But he's definitely evil, so I guess that just doesn't matter. Oh, by the way, check it out. Look at this. I got one of my new mugs. Look how cool these look. Look at that. There's like depth to it. Isn't that crazy? Like literally when you're holding it, that's what I was hoping the white one would look like. The black one to me isn't as cool as that, but look at that. Nefarious. Alright. Come on, you gotta admit that's pretty cool. Well, in the UK, what is it, about 1 in the morning right now? Hey, we've got Marie Smith and somebody who calls themselves a body language expert. So there's 2 of them in here. Right. Well, I might come back on later. I don't know, but I'm just going to do this one right now. Okay, so here is the update. All right, let me turn down this music a little bit. It's more of a timeline than an update, but there are some updates in it. Okay, now I'm using 2 different timelines that people created because some are more accurate in some of the different times, okay? But this is stuff we didn't really know yet. All right, let me start with this timeline. So it said on May 2nd, so, you know, literally, heck, 5 months ago, Lisa Suzanne Holyfield is tied up and robbed, then escapes. Police name Wallace as the suspect. All right, and then they arrested Wallace on the 4th. Just 2 days later, they arrested him. And the thing is Lisa Suzanne Holyfield was a 10-year friend of his. So obviously she was the witness and told police, hey, this moron right here. He bound me up, and he also, let me see if I have some deeper information. Okay. Lisa Suzanne Holyfield went out of her way to be kind to Kirby Wallace. She and her family knew him well for more than 10 years. Let me turn this down even more. That was before he attacked her in her Liberty Parkway home, May 2nd, said the daughter, Heather Holmes. We definitely trusted him, Holmes said. This is someone she thought was her friend. Wallace, 53, is now a suspect in 2 slayings, one during a home invasion and one during a carjacking a week ago. Okay, so that goes on. That's later on. It looks like this Wallace individual was having either problems with obesity or some sort of thyroid issue. Okay, so when I was looking at her pictures up in here, let's see if we can see this. She's somewhat normal, but then she got really big right there. So I don't know if something medical happened to her or not, but you see the difference there? All right. So the reason I'm bringing that up is because after the... Okay, so May 4th, Wallace was arrested 2 days after the home invasion, where he got away. He forced her to give her her PIN number for her bank, and she told police, obviously, and then they arrested him. But then on June 6th, Holyfield, the person he went in the house and tied up, the lady we were just talking about, she dies of what the Montgomery County District Attorney's Office says is an unrelated cause. So that's why I brought up the weight issue, because that's probably related to that. But unfortunately, just 1 month after this idiot was arrested, she died. And so what happened is July 2nd, on July 2nd, home invasion related charges were given the nollie dismissal, or nollie dismissal. I don't know how to explain it, how to pronounce it. But let's just say nollie dismissal. And what that means is, I looked it up, is that the prosecutor decided not to file charges, and probably because the only witness to this has died. However, they were able to keep him in jail. That seems really weak to me and really lame, to be honest with you. I mean, you had her tell you who it was. You even arrested him. And then all of a sudden, because she dies, you guys don't file charges or pursue charges for the kidnapping, the theft of her bank account, and all that. You just decided, forget it. Any jury would have convicted this guy, right? But you just didn't do it. So you kept him in jail on his outstanding warrants he had. See right here, it says, on July 2nd, home invasion related charges given the nollie dismissal. Wallace remains in jail on parole violation charges. All right. Then in September, he was released from jail. Okay. Now let's see if this one has any extra detail in those. All right, so this one says, on May 2nd, Wallace allegedly broke into a friend's home on Liberty Parkway around 11:30 a.m., so that gives a specific time. Clarksville police say he tied the woman to her bed with ropes, cords, and duct tape. He then allegedly stole her credit card, threatening, it says credit card, but it's supposed to be credit card, threatening her life if she gave him the wrong PIN. Then stole electronics from her home. He eventually cut her free, but the other article said she escaped. He eventually cut her free. Okay, so probably because she was a family friend, he let her go. And then May 4th, Wallace was arrested near Hawkins Road in Clarksville around 8:15 a.m. So let's see. She lived, let's see, over here. So apparently in this house right here, I don't know if there's street view yet. Looks like there is. This is where she was tied up, in this house right here. And he got her bank information and took off. Yeah, he cut her free, then he took off again. And I think he may have taken her car. I think he did take her vehicle. Alright, so let's see. Yeah, actually, I'm not really. I can't be sure about that. I don't think he took her vehicle. I think that's the following case. So then there was a home invasion at the Smith residence in Indian Mound. Brenda and Teddy Smith are tied up. So he was released in September, and then in the month of September, just recently, he did a home invasion at a house owned by Brenda and Teddy Smith. They're tied up, and the house is set on fire after I think he might have taken their vehicle in this one. And she died. The lady died from the fire, and the husband was able to get out, and then their son came over and tried to rescue the mother, but it didn't work. And their locations are, let's see. So not really that far away in reality. So here's where Suzanne Holyfield lived, right there. And then let's see. And the Smiths lived right here. And I did check, and this is the house right here. This one. This house right here, I checked on the news, and it's the exact same house. This house had burn damage. Their son lived just right there. He came over and tried to help get the mother out, and it didn't work. So she died. That must have been... I can't imagine how horrible that would be, trying to save a family member from a fire, you know, and you don't succeed. So, in that incident, Teddy and Brenda were attacked while returning home from church. They were surprised by a burglar believed to be Wallace at their home on Rory Hollow Road in Indian Mound in Stewart County. He allegedly tied up both of them and set the house on fire. He then left in a stolen 2005 black Chrysler 300 with tags 477 MBC, but they've recovered this vehicle. Brenda Smith, who was 63 years old, died at the scene. Teddy was able to get away, and see, like it says Teddy Able, right? But it's supposed to say Teddy was able to get away and call 911. Okay, that was on the 23rd of September. Now let me go to the other one. Brenda and Teddy Smith are tied up in their house and set on fire. Brenda Smith dies. Okay, that's similar, but this has more detail. September 27th, according to Clarksville police officials, an elderly woman in her 80s was approached while returning to her River Road home after church. Wallace allegedly stopped her at her car and forced her inside at knife point. He showed her a loaded rifle, threatened her, and disassembled her phone. Police say he then tied her to her bed, before taking her 2013 silver Ford Focus. So right now, this is his second vehicle that he's been in. Okay, now September 28th, Wallace was added to the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation's top 10 most wanted list. Okay, now on the 29th, that was the 28th, he was added to that list. 29th, Wallace was spotted near Honey Fork Road in Stewart County in a stolen vehicle. So let's type that in. I think I already have this map, but... Okay, so he was seen on this road somewhere. And this is where the Ford Focus crashed, right down there. So let's see. Wallace was spotted near Honey Fork Road in Stewart County in a stolen vehicle. That stolen vehicle, obviously, was the 2013 Ford Focus. Now this one has different information on the 29th. Wallace is spotted on a ferry crossing the Cumberland River in a stolen car, which he crashed near Honey Fork Road. See, this is exactly it. So there's a ferry. So he was in that Ford Focus. Let me find that, where that ferry is. Yeah, right here. So apparently he was on this side of it. I mean, somehow he got over this river and was on this side. And it, let's see. And that actually made sense. That's right. When I was looking at this, it made sense. So here is the home where the 80-year-old woman home invasion was, where he got the Ford Focus. It was right there, right? So he takes the Ford Focus, and he probably drove this way onto this freeway right here. And then eventually down here, and that's where he had to cross that river to get into the sections that he's eventually in now. So he went over this, got on a ferry here, took it across here, then drove up, and let's see. That's the other car. He crashed. Okay, right here. Ford Focus is right there. All right. So just picture that. He crossed the river, and then eventually he wound his way up here, was spotted on this road, and then I think the police were coming after him. What's crazy to me is when he was on that ferry, the ferry tried to delay. They actually called the police and said, hey, he's on here, and tried to delay it. And then eventually they couldn't delay it anymore, and they allowed him to drive off. But the police knew what vehicle he was in and chased him, and then he crashed right in this area and somehow on foot got away yet again. This guy is really clever, you know. He can't be an idiot. And he's been getting away. I mean, every chance that the police have had to get him, he gets away. All right, so on October 1st, there was a carjacking on Welker Road when a man is shot and killed. The stolen truck is found wrecked a short time later near Cumberland City. All right, so I do have that. All right, this is where we were discussing last night. This is the exact location. So Kirby came into this guy's yard right here, confronted him, and then took his truck, and I believe his truck was in this area because I believe that this is that same truck right here. You can see the top of it, the hood, and the back, and just remember what that looks like. Okay, it's black. It's got the back here. It doesn't look like there's a cover on the back. Here's the hood, or the roof, excuse me, and then the hood right there, and even the glass you can see right there. Okay, now his body looks like it was found in this area based on photos. There was a white sheet right there, okay? So he killed that guy, shot him in the head, took his truck, and eventually, let me see, I think I do have these pictures. Let me just, for verification purposes. And this guy is crazy. He's like that rampage guy we talked about, but over a longer period of time. Okay, here is that truck. Now, can't you just tell that's the same thing we're looking at? Look at that. The black truck, here's the roof, windshield, hood, and this time the back has a cover on it. So if you go back to Google Earth, zoom in there, there's that same truck. This is 2015, so I would bet money. I would bet $1,000 that's the same truck. All right, back to the article. And let's see what this one says. A juvenile called 911 around 9:30 a.m. to report a man wearing camo walking around their home with a pistol. Officials found a nearby resident who had been shot and killed. And the stolen truck that had been crashed on Cumberland City Road in City Road and Hayes Ridge Road. Wallace is believed to have ran into the woods from the scene of the crash. So why does this guy keep crashing? Is he just crashing so he can get out of his car quickly? I don't really get it. October 1st, though, let's read this timeline. It says, where a man is shot and killed, the stolen truck is found wrecked a short time later near Cumberland City Road. So it almost sounds like he just wrecked it. There wasn't a chase involved. And so it's Cumberland City Road and Frankie Road. A search and safety perimeter is established and roads are blocked. And I have that on the map too, where that was found. So it's not really that far away. See, look, this is where he was shot and killed. And then he probably drove like this, took a right, and then the vehicle was found. I think that what we're looking at here, these are power lines right here, as I discussed last night. You can see the pole there, and another pole there, and it, you know, it just keeps continue on with poles. There's one there, and there's some are in the shade there, so you can't see them. But I think that's what you're looking at when you look at this picture right here. These are those power lines, or maybe they're just phone lines. But here's where his truck is, and the only place that could possibly be is either right here or right there. And I think if it was a little bit, if it was closer to this side, they would have referred to this road over here. I mean, you know, it's all, everything's possible though, so it could be at this end or this area, but I think it's in this area right here. This is where that truck, that photo of that truck was taken. All right, so that's October 1st. Then on October 3rd, a man is spotted trying to enter a porch on Poplar Springs Road. The residents called 911 and the man ran into the woods. So this guy keeps eluding everybody. It's like catch me if you can type scenario. And this is where somebody saw him right here, Poplar Springs sighting. So think about it like this. Here's where the guy was killed in his yard, the truck stolen. Then he drives up here and crashes his car. Then 2 days later, he ends up right back down here again. And I don't know if these are what we're looking at here, if those are actually homes there. It could have been any one of these. They just said 4,000 block of Poplar Springs Road. So that is right in this area. And I don't know if these are, these look like more like sheds though. So I don't know if it was maybe one of these homes, or if that's a home in there or not. That's when they didn't give a specific answer. They just said 4,000 block of Poplar Springs Road. So, well, hell, maybe it's this one. I mean, I could see that being, because that is off of Poplar Springs Road. And that's just a, looks like a long, well, maybe it's not. Geez, how do these people get home? This is a power lines. Okay, it looks like there is a road going through the woods. Let's check a Google Earth, just back a little bit when it's maybe not as many trees. There you go, right there. There's the road winding through and comes out. Let's see. Oh, look at that. Comes out right where that was right there. So I'm going to guess that this is the home right there. That the deck, that he was on a deck and somebody sighted him, because it looks like a deck right there. I don't see any other homes. These don't look like homes to me. They look like, well, I guess that could be a home there. Let's see if there's a street view. Yep, there is. Yeah, I don't think these are homes. They look like buildings of some sort, sheds. So I am going to say that way out on that road there, right there, is probably the deck, because this is a driveway right here. and this is Poplar Springs Road, and this is the 4000 block. So there you go. All right, I think that's it. We don't know for sure though. Yeah, let's see what we have on the other. So that's it on the updated timeline there. There is, I guess there has been other sightings though. Here's something that was interesting about the ferry ride. It says, police learned that Kirby Wallace was seen crossing the Cumberland City ferry back into India Mound on Saturday. So this is what was in that timeline, where he offered a bit of a bribe. Ferry deckhand Brandon Wright said Wallace came into the ferry and asked him how his day was. Wright charged him. Now, charge in this case means, money. He was charged money. Wallace then gave him a tip and offered him a sausage biscuit. Wright did not take the biscuit. He said Wallace was driving a 2013 silver Ford Focus. So that's Fusion, excuse me. The car matched the description of a stolen vehicle from Clarksville connected with a home invasion burglary. I thought that was a Focus though, wasn't it? Jeez, now I can't even remember. Yes, this says Ford Focus. 2013 Ford Focus. They say Fusion. That's just probably somebody saying the wrong thing, typing it in wrong. But it's a 2013 silver Ford Focus. I don't know if this is wrong or this article. This one says 2013 silver Ford Fusion. Okay, but I can see being confused with another type or model, starting with an F like that. The car matched the description of a stolen vehicle from Clarksville connected with a home invasion burglary. That's that 80-year-old. Once Wallace got on the ferry, they called authorities. Employees then stalled their route. See, look at that. The employees on this ferry stalled their route, but eventually let Wallace off. I mean, you guys could have caught him. I mean, what the hell were you doing? About 5 minutes after Wallace got off the ferry, he totaled the stolen car and ran on foot. It almost like this. Has this guy ever driven before? Every car he gets into, he crashes. It doesn't even sound like he's being chased a lot of these times. About 5 minutes after Wallace got off the ferry, he totaled the stolen car and ran on foot. According to the director of the Cumberland City Ferry, they are complying with law enforcement. Okay. All good. So that's the update right there, the timeline, if you will. So finally, we now know what the history here is. He tied up his friend that he knew for 10 years and got her bank information, stole money from her and electronics, and then set her free, apparently. Then they arrested this guy, and everybody in their family, that lady's family, trusted him. They arrested this guy. Then he just went on a rampage, killing people. He was kept in jail for outstanding, I think it was warrants. But they didn't put him up on charges for that original tying up of the friend, because she died only a month after. So there was no witness anymore. So they decided, oh, okay, we're going to let him out. I think that's so ludicrous. I'm sorry, but I just feel like she was the witness. She probably gave you guys a statement. I think circumstantial evidence would have shown it. Like maybe when he withdrew the money from the ATM, there's video of his face on there. Okay, you guys should have kept him in jail after that. Then he was kept in jail just on outstanding warrants until September. Then he was let out in September because the prosecutor said he wasn't going to file charges. And then shortly after that, he did a home invasion with an elderly couple, tied them both up, and then he set the house on fire after he left with their vehicle. And I don't know where that vehicle is. It's probably crashed somewhere. And then after that, he went to another person's home, shot that person in the face or head, took their truck, and then he crashed that vehicle. And, I mean, this guy's all over the place. All right? So I'll put these links in the description so you guys can check it out, right? But I didn't really have much more. I was going to make this a pretty short one and just put out the timeline, and I thought I would show you guys some of the images on Google Earth where things are. It did make sense that he crossed over that you know, that river with the ferry, and then that's how he ended up where he is now, where they're trying to find him. And it sounds like people have seen him here and there recently, and maybe tonight we can talk about those sightings. Hopefully they catch him, though. I always get nervous when I do these that they'll catch him right when I'm discussing it. That happened to me on another case. Yeah. All right. Well, there you have it, everybody. And before you leave, if you can hit that like button, that would be great. And maybe share the video if you can. I would appreciate that. Maybe on Twitter, Facebook, anywhere. And nobody's really talking about this case. The national news has talked about it a few times, but nobody seems to be discussing it much on YouTube for some reason. So we need to get this information out. Maybe sign up on my Twitter account. Don't forget the new Nefarious mug. All right, right here. Pretty cool. Look at that. It's got shadow. It looks like there's depth, almost like you could reach into the cup. Oh, and then in the back has my. Hey, look at that. It's me. I know. Oh my God, how narcissistic. Yeah, not really. That's sort of like my look, you know. Yeah. All right, everybody. Well, I appreciate you showing up here. I'm hoping to come on a little bit later and discuss. Maybe there'll be some more updates and videos we can go over. And you just never know. There's all kinds of cases out there. There's even a couple more missing persons cases that people have sent that look pretty interesting. All right. So until next time, everybody, be safe out there.